Like, those are all hints of what we were planning to do for our season 3. Our notion was like their story was not over just because Homelander's dead. There was a whole other interesting space that they occupy.
So, unless you live under a rock, you'll know what the Amazon Prime show The Boys is. Basically, a very popular and usually a critically acclaimed show on Amazon Prime, loved by millions, inverting the superhero trope to be all positive and heroic, to making them literal, corrupt supervillains. And recently, they released a finale teaser, which I'll get into a little bit later. But there's been a lot of complaints recently about the new season, especially since the fact that it's the final season. People are saying that the pacing's been off and it hasn't felt entirely conclusive as a season so far.
Was there some big-ass non-stop orgy that was occurring in the room across the hall from the boys' writing room that was distracting the writers from focusing on the script, and that's why the season came out as disastrously as it had? Because of Clara. Because that's what she would have wanted.
And additionally, the creator of The Boys, Eric Kripke, or at least I'm pretty sure that's how you say it, has made a few statements on The Boys recently. And as you heard from the intro, well, it seems like he's confirmed Homelander dying in the finale.
Our notion was like their story was not over just because Homelander's dead. There was a whole other interesting space that they occupy.
So he's basically talking about Gen V Season 3 being cancelled, right? Which I'm sure you've heard about, which a lot of people also have been unhappy because it had some pretty decently written characters in there that deserve to have pretty well-made conclusions to their characters. But anyway, and he's saying they plan to do something in Season 3 after Homelander died, literally basically confirming that he's obviously dead. But a few people do think this is a throwaway if they go down the route of Homelander somehow living, which I've seen a lot of people say is unlikely as a whole. I mean, you have the theory that he gets depowered by Kimiko's blast or whatever and has to live out as a human. But I think people do like the idea of just instant satisfaction of like Butcher caving in his head with the crowbar, kind of similar to what he did in the comics. It'd be pretty cool if they have like a few little scenes that relate to the comics. Obviously not the whole concept, because the concept of the comics ending was kind of insane and kind of sudden. Definitely wouldn't really make sense if in the TV show version. So yeah, I don't understand why he's said this. I mean, this whole interview, it's kind of like, I wouldn't say like straight defense of like his writing decisions in The Boys so far, but it's more like justification. He's kind of replying to all the criticism here.
As the show is ending, why was it important for you to leave room for character-driven episodes, and how do you balance that with wrapping up the plot?
Yeah, no, great question, because I'm getting a ton of shit about it online right now. None of the things that happen in the last few episodes will matter if you don't flesh out the characters.
So yeah, that's his defense and justification to why this season may have felt a little bit like filler to some people. I personally think it's been a pretty solid season. Obviously not the best one so far, and obviously we haven't got the finale yet. Finale could tie up some loose ends. Although, again, some people are complaining it's only an hour or 5 minutes, but it's going to be released in 40x, so yeah, but only in America, obviously. Exactly how they did Stranger Things screenings. But Eric also said this, claiming that there will not really be any huge scale battles in the season, and reinstating that he doesn't have the crazy budget for it. Again, I think this one is actually more of a throwaway than the other. I can somewhat see Homelander obviously surviving, but only as like a human. I mean, I had the idea that he would be depowered and like start acting like Yagami when he gets caught and start like tweaking out, and he looks like really weak and pathetic.
Stop it!
But yeah, I think Eric Kripke is bullshitting here, unless he's just speaking for the rest of the season and not the finale. But this seems like a throwaway to distract from the big fight that will actually happen in the final episode. I mean, from this final episode teaser trailer, we can literally see that there's something crazy is about to go down. You can literally see Old Father and the Deep and Homelander all at the White House, clearly together for a certain reason. I mean, the Deep for some reason looks kind of scared here. So does Old Father, kind of. I've seen some people say that the Deep's going to turn on Homelander. I don't think that's the case. I think he's too far gone. And as we can see, Annie literally fights the Deep. I mean, that in itself shows there's going to be a few fights in here, if not parts of a big one. I mean, we even see Ryan back. A lot of people were concerned we weren't going to see him again. I mean, to be fair, we don't see any Gen V characters, and there's some OP abilities in that. But I have faith. I believe they'll be in it. I believe there'll be a pretty massive fight at the end. And so far, we haven't seen any other supes backing Homelander but O-Father and the Deep. And it seems like the Deep's probably going to be taken out pretty easily, as we can see from this shot where he gets thrown onto the beach, where I predict he'll probably be killed by the other fish, who are obviously out for him after what happened with Black Noir in the ocean. Probably get killed by that Samuel Jackson fish.
You understand, you dumb motherfucker? Water is fucking off limits to you. You are dead to us, bitch ass.
And we still don't know how overpowered O-Father's abilities are, so he might be more of a threat than we think he is. So yeah, I do think Eric Kripke's probably lying about that big fight thing. Although that Homelander thing could probably be the truth, as Homelander pretty much should die for what he's done. I mean, it's the way he said it as well. It's just like, he said it so coolly, like casually, like, I don't know. I don't think he's lying about the Homelander one. And obviously, he recently also confirmed that Soldier Boy will not be in the finale, which people have also been complaining about because his character arc in The Boys season 5 has just been so simple and up and down compared to the other complexities of the characters. So yeah, I can understand there's a little bit of anger and frustration towards Kripke's way of getting rid of Soldier Boy for The Boys. I mean, he just easily got choked out by Homelander. I don't know how the power scaling exactly works here, but people didn't really like it. I mean, people have thought that a lot of the show has been like a backdoor to the prequel show they're doing, Vought Rising, with Soldier Boy as the main character.
Look, I get it. Obviously, you got studio guys who are all, we need to plant seeds for the sequel. But I feel like it's kind of a disservice to your fan base, and also just not great storytelling.
And honestly, I do think there's a lot of connections, but I don't think it's been the majority of that. But certainly it's taken away from a little bit of the main The Boys plotline. So now it's just down to how people will like the finale. I mean, already the ratings have been pretty bad compared to the rest of The Boys seasons. And people are saying that Eric Kripke's digging a hole for himself here and there. So yeah, I guess we won't know until we actually do know when the finale comes out. But to be honest, I think the whole thing is like to do like the opposite of what the Duffer Brothers did with Stranger Things, when they like totally hyped up the finale where people like dying and it's going to be really dark and it's going to be this and that, and then tons of people were disappointed. But as for the final season of The Boys, I mean, even Moist Critical said that it's the worst season of the show, or he more worded it to say weakest, because it's not a bad season in my opinion. But yeah, let me know whatever you think is going to happen, and whether you think Eric Kripke is saying the right things here and there, and obviously whether he's doing the right decisions with the show and the legacy and the universe's future with Boys Mexico and Vought Rising. I mean, they cancelled Gen V for The Boys Mexico, so who knows. But anyway, I'm personally happy with this ending here. I hope it's not just me. I think this would be pretty nice. Anyway, I'm joking. But anyway, before you go, I'd like to mention that I have one of the worst YouTube stats of all time. Let me just look at that percentage. So if you can, it'd be very nice to make that stat a little bit better, and perhaps subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
I catch my look in the mirror. I don't know just who it is.